Hello, welcome to Liz Rocks and Stuff. I'm Liz. It's time for episode 76 of What's in My Tumbler. Starting off this week with Crazy Cow. Crazy Cow is Mexican crazy lace agate and Shungite. My brain is not working. Shungite. So this is going to, this has been in stage 1 for quite a while. So we're going to get these all rinsed off. I'm starting a new thing this week where I'm kind of shaking them up and doing a secondary rinse. I found that if I don't do that, I get some grit in the bottom of my colander. So helping to get a little bit of a better rinse on that. I was much happier with how the rinsing went this week. So we're going to do a quick sort here. I actually ended up having enough, I thought, for a stage 2. I did have enough. I just, you'll see. Anyway, so I'm going to put those stage 1s back in the colander. They'll eventually go in that plastic cup again. Put my stage 2 readies in, and then I'm going to do a quick wash cycle. So I wash with ivory soap, just a few hours. I use ivory soap in my wash cycles because I find that it works a little faster. If I did borax, I would feel like I needed to do it overnight, and I'm not that patient. But anyway, so a few hours later, we're going to open that up, dump these out, and do another rinse on them. Again, I'm going to do a little shake, a little shimmy. I'm also trying to do better about rinsing all of the slurry out of my rinsing area here because the rocks there are all gray. Very definite spot, you could tell, where I rinse my rocks. But anyway, we're going to put these all back into the barrel, and I wasn't happy. I was kind of fiddling around with, like, am I happy with how full that is? And I was like, maybe I could be. I'll put my grit and everything in here. And then I was like, you know, I'm really not happy with that. So I added some more that were kind of could go into stage 2, but if I was being picky, they really should stay in stage 1 rocks. I put those in there to help top that up. So much happier with how Crazy Cow is. And now Crazy Cow is going into stage 2. And next we've got Bam Bam. This is the river rock from my rock beds. The 2 big flat ones are the ones that I care about here. This was in stage 1. And just, I'm putting it out there. My next batch, it's going to be starting in a couple weeks. I'm going to combine the stage 1 rocks from Crazy Cow and Leviathan. And I cannot for the life of me come up with a good name for that batch. So if you have any name suggestions for Crazy Cow and Leviathan, which is going to be a combination of Mexican crazy lace, Shungite, ocean jasper, and dragon bloodstone. So if you have a good name for that, let me know. And I might use one of them if I like it. Not promising, but most of you guys are more clever than I am anyway. So this was ready for stage 2. So I'm putting in some ivory soap to do a wash cycle, and then drop my lid. If you heard that, you're welcome for that little ASMR sound of a metal lid hitting some rocks. Anyway, so this is going in for its soap cycle. A few hours later, we're going to then open this back up and put it into a stage 2. I also have another question. This has been it comes up on forums now and then, that people insist that you have to add your grit last. You have to do like rocks water grit when you're loading your barrels, because they think that if you put the grit in first, that it sinks to the bottom, and that's why you get sludge at the bottom of your barrels when you're rinsing them. It couldn't possibly have to do with the fact that slurry settles like immediately when you set a barrel on its end. And it, the barrel's been rotating on its side. Why would it gather at the bottom anyway? So this is my question. What order do you load your barrels? I typically go whatever order I remember to do things. So it's typically grit last. But so do you do rocks, grit, then water? Or is it rocks, water, then grit? Or are you unhinged and you put your rocks in last? I want to know specifically if you put your rocks in last. I want to know, because I think that's kind of funny and very brave. Shungite is in stage 3. yeah, stage 3. So we are still collecting this grit to do ink. Again, that's going to be, I'm like touting this video and I have barely started even recording it. So my methodology is I'm collecting all of it, drying all of it out, and then I'm going to actually start recording the making of it, and I'm going to have to do several experiments. So I'm expecting that video to probably not come out until closer to the end of the year. If you're lucky, maybe Thanksgiving, but we'll see. So this is currently in stage 3. And once I put all these back in, I really was not happy with the level that was full. And I didn't want to put in ceramic because ceramic is much harder than this stuff. So this is actually from the last batch that I did like 2 years ago. This is all that I have left. I did give away a lot of my rocks. So these went all the way through stage 4. So they're perfectly fine to put in at this stage. And I'm actually going to do a stage 3.5. I'm going to do, typically my stage 3 is 500 grit. My stage 4 is 8,000. But I'm going to do an in-between. So my next stage, what I call 3.5. Some people do 5 stages all the time. I only do 4. So this is a stage 3.5. It's going to be at 1,000 grit level. So did a wash cycle on those, rinse them off, and then we're going to put them all back in the barrel after I do a little shake. You can see, this one you can really see like how much rinsing you really need to do to get those really clean to go back in the barrel. But yeah, so the going back to the ink video, I'm gonna have to do a lot of stuff to get that video recorded and then edited, so I'm not expecting to get that out until closer to the end of the year. But I am going to talk about it in as long as I'm got Shungite in my videos. So I really hope that video turns out well, but we'll see. I haven't even really done anything with it yet. All right, and finally we have Leviathan. Leviathan is Ocean Jasper and Dragon Bloodstone, and it is currently in stage 1. So we are going to do a quick dump and sort. I really do love the rinsing. Like, seeing those rocks go from gray to colorful is amazing. And in here, it's mostly Dragon Bloodstone and Ocean Jasper, but there are some other things in here that I've used for filler. So there's a piece of Porcelain Jasper, there's a River Rock, there's a piece of Rose Quartz, there might be other things. So when we're coming up with a name for the new batch, keep that in mind. Is it's not all, there are a couple of other things in here. There's not a whole lot, but a couple of other things. And some aquarium gravel for, you know, what it's worth. So we're going to do a quick sort. I, again, have enough to start a stage 2. So we're going to dump those stage 1 rocks back in the colander. The river rock that was in there did not want to come out. It was like, no, put me in stage 2. So put the stage 2 readies in there. Wasn't really happy with how full that was, so the river rock got its way, and it got put into stage 2. It was pretty close anyway. I think there's one little, like, teeny crack in it that might be a problem, but we'll keep an eye on it. All right, so this is ready for stage 2. We're going to get that loaded and into a soap cycle. Again, I wash with ivory soap, and then I use borax for burnishing and for thickening my slurry. The borax question has been coming up a lot again, not here on YouTube, so I don't think there's a point in addressing it here, but, you know, I use borax to help with each cycle as well as for burnishing at the end. If you haven't tried that, I do highly recommend trying it. Borax is pretty cheap, and it does help a lot. I've noticed a big difference immediately when I first started doing it. So, putting everything back in the barrel, there was a piece of Dragon Bloodstone that tried to escape, so we're going to grab that and put it back in. No escapees here. They try. I randomly found a piece of, like, Sci-Fi Jasper just sitting in my rocks a couple weeks ago. I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to put this back in. Anyway, these are going into stage 2, so I have 3 barrels going into stage 2. And one that's going into stage 3.5 will be done in a couple of weeks. So that's it. Thanks for watching. If you have name suggestions for the new batch in a couple weeks, let me know. And how do you load your barrel? That I don't know why I was thinking about that a lot this week, but I'd be interested to know. Hope to see you back next week.